Manufacturing, Isabel Pulido, Head of Human Resources for Europe and Israel at MaxLinear, Finn O'Connell, Director of Talent Acquisition, EMEA and Norteamerica at Analog Devices, David Estepa, Senior Talent Manager at the Barcelona Supercomputing Center, and Claude Loeffen, CEO of the Silicon Search. A round of applause for all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the session about talent acquisition, adapting to market change. My name is Claude. I'll be moderating this session today. Very briefly about myself, I'm from the Netherlands. Been working in talent acquisition for about 20 years, and these days I'm helping semiconductor companies with their talent acquisition and hiring challenges. So about the session of today, I'll give you a bit of background. So the people that know me, they know I'm quite active in the semiconductor community, right, online as well as offline, and it gets me the chance to speak to a fair few people in the industry. And because I work in talent, the conversations are often about talent and hiring. And what I started to notice is that about 9 out of 10 conversations that I have start with the same thing. There's a talent shortage. And there is. I mean, we all know that, but I don't want this session to stop there because A, we all know it, and B, the fact that there's a talent shortage is a symptom of something that sits below, right? So the question I find more interesting is, what is the talent market actually telling us, and what can we learn from it? Yeah, so today we want to talk about this, and I'm super excited to have 3 very experienced talent acquisition and HR leaders here on stage. Why I'm excited about that is because HR and talent people and talent acquisition teams, they have a very unique view of the market, right? So we've been talking about the market all day, but talent acquisition sees it from a very unique angle because the way they're positioned. So they know exactly what kind of skills companies want. They know what talent wants. They know what talent is moving and how universities and institutions are getting involved, right? So today we're going to be talking about what these people see in the market, the kind of signals, and what can we learn from the talent market. Let me start by introducing everyone. We've already had a quick introduction. Isabel Pulido, HR Manager, Director, Europe and Israel at MaxLinear. Second chair is Finn O'Connell. So Finn is the Director Talent Acquisition, EMEA and North America as well for Analog Devices. So Finn is responsible for the global talent acquisition strategy for Analog Devices. Last but not least, David Estepa. So David is the Senior Talent Officer at the Barcelona Computer Center. And he brings a wealth of hands-on experience, actually directly talking to a lot of talent and sitting in between talent and management. So a lot of great hands-on experience here. As mentioned, we will structure this chat around certain signals that we pick up from the talent market. And the first one I wanted to bring up is, I believe, a very relevant one. And it's what is changing in what talent themselves want? What is it that they're looking for? Yeah, so I'll start with you, Isabel. What is it that you see that is changing and what talent in our sector is looking for?
I think we have a lot of changes in the last period. And especially here in Valencia market, we are moving a lot. I have colleagues, we are speaking about 20 years ago, we are here. And we see how different. And one of the differences I can see is now the people is moving for a project, for a full experience. It's not only a job. It's more than this. It's a full package, we may say. And the people want to learn, want to be in a good environment, in all these kind of things together. I think it's an evolution. Also, market around in Valencia is, wow, nothing compared with some years ago. Now the competition is, I was talking to my colleague in US yesterday and I say, oh, Rick, we are starting to be like you. This is super hard. It's some time ago it was difficult to find the talent. Right now also is the moving, and we are moving to another market, very active market, and this is super good because we are creating an environment, and this is good.
Totally.
This is good. And also the other thing we commented during our conversation that this is very nice. This is very recent. Please don't give us something. I started to feel with the young guys, we have the first conversation with the students. They want to come to the university to do the internship with us. And in this, I was a little bit shocked. Because in the past, when you talk to someone coming from the university, they have one interest in one area, whatever. They say, I would like to do software, I would like to do hardware. I did another internship in this environment. I would like to progress in this area. And it was more than one, it was a couple. They say, oh, I did an internship in this area, and speaking, all of you, you know the sector is hardware software. For us, it's like, okay, you're speaking black and white. And they say, oh, no, I was doing an internship in one of the areas of hardware, and I would like to do an internship in software. And I was like shocked. Wow.
Yes.
Wow, it's completely, and I was telling, okay, why? No, because I'd like to know different things. I want to know about that, about the other, and then, okay, let's see what is my career.
So the interest is not so much specialized as they want to go broader than before.
This was the,
right.
But please don't take it as a tendency. I was here, my colleagues, they can say if they have similar experience, but for me it was a little bit shocking. And then I was thinking and I said, okay, probably yes, probably now the market on the environment go more to split and to be abroad.
Is there anything that you see changing when speaking to talent, David, compared to a couple of years ago?
Well, in fact, there is. So first of all, thank you, Claude, for having organizing this roundtable. Thank you to the colleagues for being here. Answering the question, yes, 2 years ago, well, as Claude has said, I work there for the Barcelona Supercomputing Center, so I have directly contact with, at the end, people studying semiconductor, hardware, software, and other research lines. So I have directly contact with academia and also industry. What I have seen during these 2 years, from 2024 until now, is that those lines, maybe those frontiers that before were clear, between hardware and software, as Isabel said, or between academia and industry, they have been more and more enlightening and thin. From 2 years ago to now, the teams are growing more and more interdisciplinary, and people are also absorbing that idea or that movement. They are aiming for a profile or for a kind of professional profile, as I was saying, that it is not the one that we were saying 2 or even 5 years ago. It is not a hard, skilled profile with hard and technical knowledge, but they are also acquiring other skills that are allowing them to, well, to have these perspectives that are, as I was saying at the beginning, frontiers are more and more, well, non-defined. They are joining other fields, they are entering those backgrounds which maybe 5 years ago or 2 years ago were not for them, or they were not for the backgrounds, but now, as I was saying and answering your questions, yes, the difference is basically that the fields are interlining, growing toward each other.
Great. So Finn, if what talent itself is looking for is actually changing, how important is it for companies like Analog Devices, for example, to build relationships with the talent at a very early stage, like maybe even before you open the positions?
Yeah. So I think recruiting in general, regardless of the market, it's about understanding the market and the ecosystem that you're operating in. You know, previously recruiting was quite transactional by nature. You know, manager has an open requisition, you post a job, you go to market, you try and fill it. nowadays, like with LinkedIn Insights and other tools that we have at our disposal, we can get very significant data points that can tell us how the market is moving, where the talent is, what companies are hiring, what companies are letting people go, and how the talent landscape is evolving. And the organizations that are curating that data and monitoring that data and building relationships with that talent. So at ADI, for example, we would have a talent sourcing team, and their role is purely outreach. It's connecting with candidates in the market, regardless if we have an open requisition or not. We always know we're going to be looking for mixed signal engineers or edge AI professionals. So we try to build a relationship with them and add them into a talent pool ourselves and continue to cultivate that relationship. So when they do become an active candidate and when they are considering the next move, we've done the groundwork, we've laid a foundation, and we've built a relationship with them, and we kind of know what they're looking for.
So you're kind of keeping them warm, so
exactly.
To say. Do you say that's more important than in the past?
100%, because we want to talk about the shrinking talent pool, but also it's not just a depth problem we have in the market, it's a breadth problem. It's the actual skills and capabilities that are now required. More and more we're looking for AI skills, advanced packaging, chiplet architecture, EDA automation. So more and more we're looking for a wide spectrum of skills, more so than before. So when you're dealing with a depth problem, but also a width problem, you have to build relationships with those engineers. But I'd actually look further past, when you have a market like that, I often say to our managers, and actually we're delivering training this week to our managers in the Valencia office, in terms of actually looking at your job description. Start with your job description, and traditionally a manager looks at what he needs for that job, posts the job and looks for those skills, regardless if they exist or not, okay? Or if that person is actually there with all those skills. So what we say to managers is, we have data, we can tell you what's in the market. Look at your job description and look at how you can reframe your job description to what's in the market. Think about it the other way around and see how you can make your role more appealing to those engineers by just tweaking, if you can, one or two things.
So it's almost like we're not looking to hire someone and stick them in a certain role, but we're looking at what's out there and maybe form roles around them.
Yeah.
Is that?
It's easier said than done. Okay, I appreciate I'm not the manager who has the project, but I think we
But
do.
they are conscious of that.
Yeah, but we have to start that discussion.
Yeah.
We have to start the discussion.
Hey, you already dropped AI in, and of course that's something that is also in our function changing. Right, AI. I think what we see AI is bringing new challenges to talent acquisition, also brings new opportunities. David, you work hands-on with talent. How do you apply, or how do you use AI in your day-to-day work?
For sure, we are not blind at the end. As job descriptions, as my colleague has said, well, it should be around the talent that is now on the market. Well, we also need to bring our mind around the idea that AI is being used by candidates all around the market, and we should be fine with that. At the end, if used properly, it's another tool, it's another useful resource that they have, and we can also use it. Basically, the way that we are using it, Claude, I could tell from one of the resources that we have been having through all these years. LinkedIn is one of the resources that provides AI, and it is quite useful to use it to analyze and to check the database that they have at the end millions of profiles, and it uses artificial intelligence in order to check, taking into account your job description, what should be more or less adjusted to what you are looking for. But it is not only left there. Leaving the channels and other tools such as ChatGPT or Gemini, or which basically it can help you to bring to life a job description with the different assistants that we have for, as job description platforms or talent platforms. What you can find is that they also help you, not only on LinkedIn, but also through these softwares, to analyze and to check different databases in order to bring up those candidates that maybe you forgot because you have opened 2 or 3 job descriptions. At the end, I'm sure.
So it's quite useful.
Yes,
I understand.
yes,
you see it as a positive step forward.
It
Right.
is
Right.
really quite useful, and it has a lot of uses currently.
Fantastic. Hey, and Finn, I know you're responsible for rolling out the global talent acquisition strategy for analog devices. I'm sure that you are looking, or already applied, you're looking for ways to apply AI. Is there anything that you can share then that could be useful for other companies that are here on?
Depending on the size of your company, like you don't actually have to go to a vendor if you're looking for an AI tool to support in recruiting. You can build agents. We've built a number of agents in-house ourselves that have specific purposes. So for example, we built one in-house, we call it Kickstart. So when a recruiter receives a job from a manager, we have built in all the prompts, and the agent actually accesses various internal files and guidance and documents that we would use. And from the very beginning, you don't have to give it any instructions. You just copy and paste the job description in, and it will give a full breakdown of the role. It will identify, how to position the role. Maybe the job description needs to be changed. It will offer different job titles, but also it will build a briefing pack for the manager to send. So believe me, it takes stuff that would normally take at least a couple of hours, you literally have in 2 minutes. So and anyone can kind of do that. I'm no technical genius, I can assure you, but I actually built a TA assistant myself that I actually use. So I think more and more recruiters are going to start building these agents if you have that capability within Copilot or Claude, which a lot of companies would. And that's something I would definitely advocate. You don't actually need to go to a vendor. You can start building these tools yourself, and the agent will teach you. So it'll automate. It'll automate a lot of tasks. There's a lot of fear in the recruiting industry.
How's the adoption within the company?
Very strong, actually. Yeah, within the recruitment team. So there's fear that AI will, like in many sectors, that AI will take the recruiter's job, but really it'll take the jobs of the recruiters who don't use AI. I think it's the adoption now and the people and the recruiters that use it smartly and see how it can automate tasks and the positive use cases for it. They're the ones that should not be in fear. If anything, it's going to enhance their productivity and they'll be able to achieve a lot more.
Great. So I think we can summarize it brings a lot of advantages. I think the only thing that AI can't do just yet is deliver more specialists that we all need to hire. So that kind of brings me to the next point. Like I said, I have a lot of conversations around hiring with different kind of companies as well. And when we talk about strategy, what I notice is that most companies focus on kind of 2 segments of the total talent pool. Right? So they want to attract the most experienced people in the industry. That makes sense. And they focus on how can we get the smartest people from university at the other end. But there's a big pool of candidates in between that I sometimes think, are we forgetting them? Because we say there's a shortage, but I hear from a lot of people in the industry and also people from adjacent industry that look pretty strong. It's like, it's impossible to get a job. Right, so are we missing out on a big pool that sits in the middle that we can potentially just train up, reskill from adjacent industries, or people that are already in the industry to train them up in a different role where there's more need?
You're asking.
Isabel.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I think it's, and this is aligned with the interest I can see right now in the candidate to learn new things. First is because the environment right now is helping a lot. You can learn whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And what I can see also is the people is willing to do it. And then for this medium, you say, okay, I need the expert, super expert, okay, you need to go to the market, it's done. Or the fresh, okay, you can learn. And in the middle, depend sometimes to make the strategy. Also, you need to see the urgency. Sometimes you have no the time to train internally. But I think it's the first to go is internally to see the skills, basic. Even right now, I'm starting to think. Even don't think which skill they have. They want to do it, and you have the capacity to, for some time, to move there. I'm sure you have all of companies, we have mentors inside the companies. Give the opportunity to grow in new skills. And I think the market people, our own people and people in the market, they are super open to change. And one of the things that we are right now checking is with these masters, we are in collaboration with the universities right now. We have people that they change the career. In some cases more drastical, in other less. But people is changing. They say, okay, I like semiconductor. You was asking me why they are changing. Sometimes because they say, okay, semiconductor is super nice.
How do companies decide whether to hire someone new, retrain someone, or reskill someone?
At the end, it's very, you can say, a project. Because if you are in a project, in an urgency, and you need one skill, okay, you need to look for. You have no the time to train, because also we are speaking about a market that is, or not a market, sorry, we are very specialized. Sometimes it's difficult to acquire the skills. Then, okay, a lot of cases we need to go. But sometimes also is, another time is people is willing to move. You have one person in another department that has a fundamental that is good. You can use this fundamental, move to another area, and in not long period, you have someone doing something different in an area that you have a need. We have right now a couple of cases where internally the people is moving to an area that for right now is very key for us.
Do you believe that that's the standard, or most companies are not like that?
I think we can see two ways here. Is that if you think or you ask someone if you have a process or if you have something super structured for that, probably, I don't know, if you have more, but I would say, no, I don't have this kind of process internally. But the reality is, yes, we have it. Because we are doing every single day. It's not every single day, sorry. It's a sound like we are moving people like crazies. But we are using, but probably we don't have a formalized process to do it internally. Right. But we are doing. I think I'm curious to know my colleagues what is the experience. But yes, this is our case. We are doing.
Where do you see the best opportunities, David, to reskill people from potential adjacent industries into our sector in the semiconductors?
Well, that is quite a tricky question, Claude. Because at the end, as you said, there is quite a wide gap of people who is looking for positions, who wants to have position, and maybe they are not being lucky or they are not having the quite good perspective. I would say that, well, backgrounds and professional fields that we have been working with from ages, as I could say, automation or automobilistic industry, but not the usual professions or the usual positions that are more related to semiconductors. Maybe a technician who has the right, I would say, human skills or the right soft skills in order to be reskilled could be a really good agent in order to incorporate to the semiconductor. I could say also from academia, there are, from my perspective, a lot of agents and a lot of professionals that are willing to be reskilled because they are not finding what they were promised or what they were looking for. And with a proper reskilling and with, I would say also a good motivation, which is key in this industry, in this field, it could be, the reskilling is completely possible. It only needs to find a way, the right skills, and the right people on those fields.
Great. Hey, the session is cut short a little bit because we're running behind, so we've got 5 minutes left, roughly. So I wanted to circle this back to a more general topic here. Finn, in your opinion, what is the one thing that business leaders often miss about the talent market that talent acquisition does see?
It's the short-term planning, short-term view. When it comes to workforce planning, many organizations They're quite reactive when it comes to planning out where they're going to hire, and they're doing it the wrong way around. They're not understanding the talent landscape, as I mentioned earlier, and what's in place. So I think really the leadership and the industry needs to think more longer term, you know, because look, if you think of product design, you know, how long that could run for in the semicon industry, it's kind of similar to that. It's very short term. I think short-termism in terms of hiring and recruiting, and I think it's, you know, like the old saying, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Today. You know, so it's kind of trying to put the seeds in place now. And when it comes to that hidden market, like that you're correct, that untapped market and those untapped resources, it's again looking at the way we work, how teams are structured, how projects are ran, and then looking at the talent that's in the market that we could bring in, and we could give them some type of responsibility where they could contribute and then learn on the job, you know. But again, that's a big undertaking for any organization. But I think if a company can do that well, they're the companies that will have competitive advantage in the talent space.
Do you believe as well, and I think we saw a really interesting session this morning about the competence centers. Have you considered reaching out to a competence center and say, look, you know, these are the hands-on skills that we're missing from people coming out of universities, how can we set something up together?
There's ongoing discussions. I think the challenge you have is really in recruiting as well is it's the individual hiring manager that has to hire, okay? So they're the operator in the role, they have their targets, they want to hire someone they know, they're reducing the risk that will hit the ground running. So they're the one that has to take all the risk, you know, when it comes to it. So a CEO or a head of talent might say, this is what we need to do. We need to hire on potential. We need to hire on tapped talent. But ultimately, the final decision rests with the hiring manager. They're the one, the operator. And that's where you have to win the battle. They're the group you have to convince. If you can get them to buy into that type of mentality and show them that this can work, and if they can see it working, if you can win the hearts and minds of the individual hiring managers, you'll be moving in the right direction.
I was, when we were having a coffee, had a quick chat with Nick from about these competence centers and who should take the initiative to link all of it together. And I think what came from him, it's more on the company side, but I appreciate people need to be pushed. Do you think that talent acquisition should be the function that takes leadership on? So look guys, let's involve these competence centers, let's see what we can set up together, or?
It depends on the organization, and it depends if talent acquisition have a seat at the top table, you know, ultimately. Like a lot of talent acquisition groups, they're not really in that discussion at the top table with the leadership. It's usually the discussion after. So, but to join the table, like you have to bring a share, you know, so you have to bring something to the table. So I think if you can get that influence and you can bring that, yeah, that could 100% sit within the TA function, because to your point, we're the ones that know the market. We know which way the market is moving and where the gaps are. And you know, recruiters know a lot about different parts of the organization, small bit about a lot, because we need to, you know, so we have a very good commercial understanding of the business. So it would make sense for a TA group to engage.
I think it comes down to you have to do it together, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isabel, last one for you then. What is the one signal from the talent market that the industry should not ignore?
I think this change to have jobs and to have skills. I think we are in a point, in my opinion, that the market will change a lot. We are listening the entire day how many people we need, but there is no people. It's not even.
But are there not?
We don't have trained people. We don't have people enough for that. And I think skills, and but this is we need to change as a company the entire mindset. Forget it, the traditional job or wherever is how we can have a pool of skills or something like that. I think we need to go in another more flexible way, more skills-based. And
where does that start within a company?
I will try. But we need to start. We need to start because it's really the need is outside.
So what is stopping us from starting then?
When we
Why are we not starting yet then?
Because it's very difficult. We need to change a lot of paths and mechanisms and organizations. But at the end, the reality will bring us, and the reality sometimes give you a shock. And right now, I think our shock right now is AI. This is a shock. Every one of us right now, we are starting to see how to implement it, how to use it, how to do it. This is in our face. This is changing completely the play games. We need to start tomorrow. Okay, I will call you.
I know I can talk about this for another couple of hours. I think the time is up though. So hey guys, I want to thank you very much. It was short, but it was insightful. There's definitely a lot of stuff changing here, and I think as well what you said as well. And I think we have to do it all together, but someone needs to start.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. We are going to do the picture.